What a year for the James family, right? Just a few months ago, LeBron broke the record to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer, and just a few weeks ago, Bronny, his eldest son, was drafted 55th overall by the Los Angeles Lakers, where he has already landed his first professional contract. Every sports media outlet in the US has already covered these events over the past year, and no family member can breathe without a camera in their face. Now, it seems that a lot of people are forgetting about Bryce, the middle son, who's coming into one of the biggest moments of his development, a moment that will determine his future in professional basketball. He's always been a bit of an underdog, the one who was left behind his older brother who was going to have the option to play with his father. But over the last few months, Bryce has been surprising many people. Now, how good is Bryce James actually? How can we sense today what his future career in professional basketball will be like? Let's talk about this. It was June 2007, and LeBron James was playing the most important games of his entire basketball career. Yes, his Cleveland Cavaliers were facing the San Antonio Spurs in what was the first finals of the Kings' career. But on June 14th, something much more important happened to him. Bryce, LeBron's second son, was born in Cleveland. And as the second child in the family, Bryce received less media attention than his older brother. Bronny's birth sparked a phenomenon, the possibility of him playing alongside his father in the NBA. What was once a far-fetched idea is now a reality we'll witness this season. But nonetheless, Bryce followed in Bronny's footsteps, attending Sierra Canyon School in Chatsworth, Los Angeles. And despite being the son of a GOAT candidate, Bryce didn't find much playing time in his first 2 seasons in high school. In fact, the middle child of the James family averaged only 3.8 points per game while rotating between the high school team and the varsity team. But this lack of minutes had an explanation. Sierra Canyon is one of the most successful and competitive programs in the country, and the roster is loaded with elite prospects. At that point, most experts wondered if Bryce would ever be considered a prospect with enough potential to get on the pro basketball radar. So Bryce needed change. He thought he transferred to Campbell Hall in North Hollywood after playing with them in a summer event, but ultimately James enrolled at Notre Dame High School, a decision that would keep him out of official games until months later as he transferred without moving. He could only train with the team, but he couldn't play official games. And that's when Bryce made the decision to go back to the high school where it all started, Sierra Canyon, with the goal of finding the playing time he deserved. In some ways, it was his best choice. But that's where Bryce began to surprise everyone. This past season, the Sierra Canyon wing started to play much better, increasing his scoring averages and putting up stellar performances like the 21 points he scored against Cameron Boozer, the son of former All-Star Carlos Boozer on the Nike EYBL Tour. Throughout his high school career, Bryce was considered a 3-star prospect by most scouting agencies in the country. 24/7 Sports gave him an 86 out of 100 and 3-star rating, making him the 41st highest-ranked player at his position. ESPN gave him a rating of 78 and also 3 stars, ranking him 49th among all shooting guards in the nation. But On3 gave him a 94 rating and 4 stars, appearing on the list as the 18th best shooting guard in his class, but also appearing in the 71st position of the best players in the nation regardless of position. But the point is that Bryce is proving to be a late bloomer. His progression is going much faster than anyone thought it would. 2 years ago, any scout would have said that LeBron's middle son should pursue a career beyond basketball. But today, it's not out of the question that the wing's future lies in the NBA. Now that we're able to understand the hype the kid is getting, what kind of player is Bryce James? And what do we expect his possible adaptation to professional basketball to look like? The first thing that stands out about Bryce is his frame. Although he's still listed as 6'4", the latest reports are that James is hovering around 6'6". In fact, in the most recent photos, we can see how the Sierra Canyon wing is getting closer and closer to his father LeBron's height. But that's not the only difference between Bryce and Bronny. They actually have completely different playing styles. While Bronny is a guard who is used to having the ball in his hands, Bryce's role is more similar to that of a finisher. For starters, his increased height should allow him to even play forward in college and in the NBA if he ever gets on the league's radar. And this ability to play away from the ball has allowed him to have a very different arsenal of skills than his brother. Bryce is a great three-point shooter, even from beyond the three-point line. His form seems very confident and well-developed and has always been the most striking aspect of his game. But in addition, Bryce is a very good finisher in the paint. His touch near the rim has always been very good and crafty. and he's able to finish layups in traffic even against more than one defender. However, over the last few months, he's shown the ability to shoot from mid-range on looks that usually end up coming off the dribble. If Bryce can develop this characteristic, we could be talking about a prospect capable of scoring from all three levels, a profile that is extremely valued in today's fast-paced basketball. But Bryce is not just a scorer. There's an aspect of the game that he shares with both Bronny and LeBron, and that's his basketball IQ. Scouts and pundits have stressed that Bryce is a player with a great read and understanding of the game, able to make the right decisions in real time. He's not a Bronny-level passer, but his incorporation into college offensive systems should not be a problem, a factor that should accelerate his adjustment process. It's true that Bryce does not particularly stand out as a defensive prospect. Rather, he's a player capable of sacrificing but has not yet finished developing on this side of the court. But the important thing is that his defensive instincts seem to be in a good place for the future. Bryce has been preparing for his professional career for some time now. First, he followed the family tradition and signed with Rich Paul's agency, Clutch Sports, for NIL representation, which has successfully represented all members of the family for the past 2 decades. The same agency that just a few weeks ago was able to secure an $8 million contract for the next 4 seasons for Bronny James, after being selected with the 55th pick in the 2024 draft. On the other hand, Bryce has received offers from 2 colleges that will allow him to play Division I ball once his high school career is over. Duquesne and Ohio State have already offered the middle brother a spot in their program, considering also that LeBron has always said that if he had played at any college,